Are you ready? You think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down! They generate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. You think you can tell me what to do? You know who you're talking.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tiger Joker Unleashed. I am Tiger Joker. And, before we get into anything, we always talk about people on X with the burner account. Yes, my name on X is Tiger Joker. And I'm going to give you a little background on that, on why my name is what it is on there. I'm not going to lie. Before the end of football season, I used X just to scroll, check things out, things like that. I had my real name on there. Didn't interact with anyone, maybe would like a post here and there, but that's it. That's what I used X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it for. And then Lane Kiffin's hired at LSU, and I'm scrolling one day and I see a picture that someone makes of the Joker in LSU gear. And it comes, and I liked it. And I really, I like the picture. I like, the character. So I changed my name on X to Tiger Joker. And I'm not going to lie, it was, at the time, LSU hires Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. There's a lot of trolling going on. There's a lot of, back and forth between LSU and Ole Miss. So I changed my name on there, take my face off, take my name off, go with the Tiger Joker character and the name so that I could, troll and interact on Twitter. Never did I think that I'd be sitting here right now in front of a camera with a mic talking to anyone, have a podcast. It's always been a passion of mine to do, but it's never something that, I thought that I would pursue because, I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable sitting in front of a camera. There's times when, I'm still not comfortable in front of a camera and I might seem shy or I may, not see myself, and I'm getting better at it. But, I never didn't create my Twitter persona with Tiger Joker to do what I'm doing now. And now that I have, and things are going on and people are using burners and people are trolling on Twitter behind an account without a face, without a name. Sometimes, not saying anybody of us, but sometimes, I'll get that where you're a burner yourself, but I'm not. My face is all over my profile. All you have to do is ask and I'll tell you who I am. But yeah, it may have been my intention in the beginning to be hide behind a Tiger Joker character, but it's not what it's used for now. People on X know who I am. They know my real name, and I'll tell you, my real name is Justin. In front of our little circle of guys that do this and we interact with and we talk to here and there. There is a Justin Babin Jr. who has a show, Babin on the Bayou. So, that never really gave me an option to change my name to Justin. So I just stay with the Tiger Joker. Now I have Tiger Joker Unleashed, the whole podcast with it. So my name on X will stay Tiger Joker. But just know that I'm not hiding behind a character. My face is all over it. I have this show. I have other shows. I have videos for Click to Pick where my face is in it. So I'm not hiding. My name's not there, but I'm not hiding. But I just wanted to start the show out by that, to tell you kind of the reason behind the Tiger Joker. As you can see, do have a shirt. It is the first of, the Tiger Joker merchandise. More to come. And before we go any further, I'm proud, to have the sponsor of KAJ Southern Designs as my sponsor, as my, merchandise maker. Um, Possibly this weekend, I will have new shirts, and I will have, the podcast shirt. This one right here, it just says Tiger Joker on the back. It just has the face. It's actually the old logo before we changed to the new Tiger Joker Unleashed podcast. Hopefully this weekend we'll have the Tiger Joker Unleashed shirts. And before we go any further, I am going to recognize our sponsor. If you're looking for apparel, hats, shirts for a company, for your business, anything like that, go to KAJ Southern Designs and she'd be glad to help you. So we'll be right back right after this. From embroidery to custom apparel and DTF prints, let KAJ Southern Designs bring your ideas to life with quality and style. Whether it's for your business, team gifts, special events, or personal, KAJ Southern Designs has you covered for all your apparel needs. Not only is KAJ Southern Designs a sponsor of Tiger Joker Unleashed, they are also the provider for Tiger Joker Unleashed apparel. Local pickup or shipping available. Message KAJ Southern Designs to order today. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok at KAJ Southern Designs, or online at KAJSouthernDesigns.com. Locally owned and operated out of Santa Maria, Louisiana. Well, there you go. Not only is KAJ Southern Designs a sponsor of the show, they are also the merchandise provider. So if you see me Saturday and I have a Tiger Joker Unleashed shirt on, that's where it comes from. Give her a call, give her, a follow on social medias, on anything like that, and she can help you out. Before we go any farther, we're going to go up in the chat. We got Mr. Paul Jarrett in the chat. What's up, buddy? Thank you for joining. I did catch a little bit of your show today. I was at work. I'm going to go back and listen. One thing I did catch was, I think I heard you say Kaysen wouldn't throw this weekend. And we're going to talk about that in here a little bit. But, you came out on X and admitted that you were wrong. Hey, we all were, But we're going to talk about that at the end of the show, kind of what you expect to see this weekend with the pitching rotation. That's about all we're really going to get into the Florida series, is how it sets up going further. But, yeah. Mr. Robbie Plaisance, gearing up for the SEC tournament run. Yeah, we are, boy. We're gonna talk about that, but we're also gonna talk about this weekend. Why you should still go out. You should still go to the box. You should still support this team. Yes, we're looking for an SEC tournament run, but this weekend gives you an opportunity to do things, that you might not get a chance to do again. Uncle Randy, what up, Joker? I was on the wrong video. Yeah, I had to move the time back. I had a long day. I didn't get to prepare as much as I wanted to. So it took me a little bit more time to prep the show. So I had to actually push it back. So if there was more than one stream, I apologize. But we're here now. Paul says, getting in front of a camera by yourself can be very scary. I've started sweating in the middle. Absolutely. I remember my first show. I didn't do it live. I recorded it and then released it the next day. I'm not going to lie. It took me multiple takes to do it because I would get so far in and I would mess up and I would start over. And that's not even doing live. That's just recording. So getting in front of a camera live is way more harder. It's way more harder than just recording. But the only way you can get better at it is to get in front of the camera and do it. I'm not the best. I'm far from it. There's guys out there that can do this way better than I can, but I'm trying. This is a passion of mine, and I enjoy doing it. And that's why we're here. Uh, like Robbie says, I'm sorry, we'll go back. Robbie said that uh, he's trying to do live right now, get more comfortable in himself. Just go for it, Robbie. I mean, start out recording some shows first, maybe, and then go into a live. Paul, yes, KAJ Southern Designs. She can help you out with what you're looking for. I know what you're looking for. We talked about it. She can help you out. Paul says, Robbie, you won't get comfortable until you do it, man. It's true. I didn't think I would be there. I would be here talking in front of a camera live, but here I am. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about, all right, so this baseball season has not gone nearly like we expected or we wanted it to. Mathematically, you could say that you're out of an at-large bid. You know, you didn't take care of business last week, doing what you needed to do to secure an at-large bid going into this weekend. So mathematically, you could possibly say that you are not going to get an at-large bid. Jay even mentioned himself today in his interview that, you know, he sees the only way that this team can make the postseason is to win the SEC tournament. So what does that make this weekend at the box? You know, a lot of people are going to say, well, they're not playing for nothing. Why should I go? You know, this team has failed this year. They have not produced like a LSU baseball team should. Why should I go support? Well, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why. First off, I'm going to give you 9 reasons why. There's 9 seniors on this team who are going to be playing their last game in Alex Box. Now, you can comfortably say that even if this team goes and wins the SEC tournament, there will be no postseason at the box. That, for one, is very sad because postseason baseball at the box is like no other. I was, fortunate enough to be in the box last Super Regional against West Virginia, and it's an atmosphere that you just can't duplicate. It's just, there's nothing better. So for them 9 seniors, this will be the last time to be at the box in front of the LSU crowd as an LSU Tiger. Now they're going to the SEC tournament, but that's in Hoover. That's not at the box. Some people can't make Hoover. So this is the last opportunity for some people to even see them play, much less in the box, as an LSU Tiger. Just a couple names, we're going to mention them all, but, Zach Cowan for one. Zach Cowan is a senior. He's been at LSU for 2 years after transferring from Wofford. And Jay has said himself, you do not win last year's national championship without Zach Cowan. Zach Cowan pitches probably the game of his career against Arkansas in Omaha, which allows you to win the national championship. Zach Cowan will be making his final appearance in an LSU uniform this weekend. So there's one of them. You go to Chris Stanfield. Chris Stanfield's also been here 2 years, transferring from Auburn. Again, you do not win the national championship last year without Chris Stanfield in the outfield. Chris Stanfield was a key in your lineup, in your outfield, to allow you to win the national championship. He comes back for his senior year this year, and he's dealt with injuries. But guess what? Chris Stanfield is still out on that field every chance he gets, giving you 100% of the player he is, even with the injuries that he's dealing with. Not only is Chris Stanfield doing that, but the work that Chris Stanfield is doing off the field is like none other. The charity work, the make dreams happen work, things like that Chris Stanfield is doing off the field duplicates what he does on the field as a great player. Great player on the field, great player off the field. He's a class act like no other. He will be playing his last games at the box this weekend. Another opportunity for you to go out there and see him for the last time. Then you go to someone like, I say, Seth Dardar. Seth Dardar has only been at LSU 1 year. Seth Dardar grew up an LSU fan and dreamed of playing for LSU. And he finally gets his chance as a senior in college to play for the university, for the program that he grew up watching and he grew up wanting to play for. Now, the season didn't go like he intended or, like he would have wanted, but Seth Dardar has played through injuries as well. Seth Dardar also mentioned to Jay that, I may not be 100%, but I promise you, you're going to get 100% out of me. And if you can have that, if you can have 9 of them players on your team, on your starting lineup, give me that. Give me the guy that will go out there and he will give his all for the program that he loves to be able to produce. Seth Dardar will be making his final appearance at Alex Box this weekend. I wouldn't be the Tiger fan I am today without, and I admit it, my mom. My mom brought me to LSU games when I was a kid to see kids, to see players, to see programs play. And I fell in love with the program. My earliest remembrance of LSU baseball, I will tell you till this day, is Warren Morris's walk-off home run in 96. But, I can remember going to the box as a kid, even younger than that. Like, I don't remember much about the game, but I remember going. And then as I get older, making the trips to the box to see players, from, you say, the 09 team, like Mikey Matook, Jerry Mitchell, grew up with a guy, Buzzy Hydell, who played there. Is seeing them play in the box for the last time after the wonderful careers they had is something I will always remember. So going to the box this weekend, your family, bring your kids, make them fall in love with this program the way you did, the way I did. You got 3 more opportunities: Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Don't miss it. Don't miss the opportunity to see these guys one last time. Some other seniors, that are playing their last games. You got Grant Fontenot. Grant Fontenot is a 2-time LSU Fighting Tiger. After transferring after his freshman year to Texas, Grant Fontenot comes back, and he's been there his last 2 years, winning the national championship last year. Didn't get maybe the amount, time that he wanted last year, but he stepped up big this year, and the opportunities that he has been given, and he's done a great job. Be playing his senior last games at the box. Connor Benj. Connor Benj is the same thing. Transferred in last year, didn't play. He didn't pitch as much as he wanted, and he could have walked away. He could have left. No, he comes back for the program that we all love and pitches, and has been a major part of the bullpen this year. Same thing. So, and then you got guys like Zach York, Trent Caraway, Braden Simpson, Tanner Reeves. Their season, we'll get to the first. Zach York, Braden Simpson, Trent Caraway are brought in for this year as a transfer. Things didn't work out like they planned, or his plan that Jay had for them coming in. They didn't work out, but they are still part of this program. They are still part of LSU baseball. So you should give them your support. Go out and see them for the last time. It's going to be great. I'm sure senior day is going to be Saturday. I'll be there for one. So that's great to see all these seniors get recognized. You have Tanner Reeves, who has done multiple things for this team. He has played different positions wherever needed, wherever in the lineup. He started last year at third base earlier on in the year, was replaced later on by Michael Braswell, but he was a part of the national championship team, playing his last year, last games in the box. Now I know all these seniors that were recognized, are 1 or 2 year guys. You get that in college baseball. It's very hard in college baseball to have a senior that's been there 4 years. Very hard. Um, but another guy who not a senior, but you could possibly be seeing for the last time in a Tiger uniform in Alex box is Gavin Guidry. Gavin Guidry is a redshirt junior, does have another year of eligibility. Gavin Guidry has also been here 4 years. He's a two-time national champion. No, the season hasn't went like he wanted. He has had some, you can say, struggles. He's not the Gavin Guidry that, before the injury as he maybe been after the injury. I'm not blaming anything on that, but he could possibly be playing his last game at the box. Now he has a decision to make. Does he go pro? Does he come back for his 5th year? Personally, opinion, I think he should come back, but you come back, you get rid of all your leverage in the MLB draft. So it's a business decision as a future that Gavin Guidry has to make. And you can respect whatever decision he makes, but he could be pitching for the last time in the box this weekend. And for one, if I don't get a chance to see it, be hurt, because Gavin Guidry has been a big, major part of this program, from closing the championship game out as a freshman to being in the dugout the entire year last year as you make the College World Series run, and be the, he was the cheerleader with, in the dugout with the boombox, with Beatty, with Yaman, being the hype man for this team. Paul said, Jay said, today Milam and Curiel are leaving. I don't believe him about Curiel, but I may need to accept it. Yep, I was just about to get to that. So that's 2 other guys that you could possibly be seeing making their last appearance in the box. Stephen Milam is a junior, has 1 year of eligibility left, goes into the draft. If he does come back, he loses all leverage. So him going to the team that drafts him would probably be the smartest business decision for himself, money-wise. But if it's more than that, if this program means more than that, you could see him back. That's a decision he needs to make himself, and you have to respect whatever decision he makes. And then leaving this program as the best shortstop in LSU history would be what you would get if he does, and in fact, not come back. I personally see him leaving, but would be very, very happy to see him come back. That's another guy that, you won't get to see play in Alex box again. So take advantage of it. Derek Curiel. Paul has said since before the season that, Curiel might not be gone. And for a little while, you could kind of see it, that, maybe things weren't going as he wanted. Maybe the power game wasn't there like people expected it to be. But Derek Curiel of late has been the Derek Curiel that we seen last year. And all mock drafts have him in the top 20, top 25. And that's something that you can't pass up. As much as you would love for him to come back, you can't blame him for going for top first round money. Now, if he doesn't get his number he wants in negotiations and he comes back, all open arms for him. Derek Curiel will be back in center field, just like he never left, and we'll all be cheering for him next year. Do I see it happen? I don't. I see him leaving, this being his last year. So then you have guys like Jake Brown. Jake Brown, unfortunately, hurt and wasn't able to finish the regular season. And like I said, I did talk to Jake after the what was that Texas A&M game, and I'm sorry, no, that was the South Carolina game. I don't remember what game I went to, but I talked to Jake, and he said that if we made the postseason, that he would be back. And right now, doesn't look like that's going to happen unless you win the SEC tournament. Now, you won't get to see Jake play this weekend, but he'll be there. He'll be in the dugout. He'll be on the field just like he has been since the injury. And he will be making his last appearance at the box. Not playing, but as an LSU Tiger. Because we all believe that Jake Brown is gone. His draft stock is very, very high, and there's not much that he could do next year to make it better. So again, coming back, you lose all leverage, and that is a name that we could, we will be seeing for the last time in the box. And one more that has a decision to make is Devin Sheeran. Devin Sheeran, though he's only a sophomore, redshirt sophomore because of the injury last year, is considered to be a high draft pick. Now, how high will that be? Will the money be right for him to come back? I believe that he could benefit from another year in college, maybe a bigger role and bump that stock up, but a big, hard throwing righty teams love. And if it takes one team to fall in love with him and give him the money he wants, for him not to come back. But that's all the names that you could possibly be seeing for the last time in the box this weekend. That gives you every opportunity to come out and see them for the last time. I know I'll be there Saturday. Me and my little boy, we'll be out there. Paul's having a tailgate Saturday, so it's another reason to come out. Come meet me. Come meet us. Come hang out. No matter what the season's going through, we're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna be out there Saturday before the game. Come say hello. And then another reason to go out is to get one last look at the future of this team. The guys coming back, what you can look forward to next year. Guys like Mason Braun, Omar Cerna, Cade Aaron Beatty, Jack Rucker, William Patrick, John Pearson, Kason Evans, William Schmidt. Not throwing, but Cooper Moore. That's your core of your team next year. And that's the guys that will go into next season looking to turn this thing around. Now, we've seen what they have put on the field since they've all been inserted in the lineup, and it makes you excited about the future. But going out this weekend, you get to see that in live and in flesh. Future of this team, which I'm excited about. I'm excited with the recruiting class coming in. See what guys get to campus, what guys we lose to the draft. I believe that Jay's going to do some different things this year, portal-wise. Recently, in years past, Jay has went portal hunting for big names to come in. I believe that he's going to build around the core that he has, and then portal shop for big names, but for big names of positions of need. Pitching maybe an infielder, outfielder, things like that. But he's going to build this team around the core that he has. He's mentioned it in his all his videos and interviews before that, he messed up in the portal. He let players go that possibly could have been here and could have been irreplaceable to go to a portal and grab another guy to bring in to replace him. I just think, going through this year, going through this struggle, you're going to see Jay work harder than anybody in the business. He is the greatest coach in baseball, and you're going to see it this offseason by what he puts on the field next year. Because I promise you, as much as you don't like the way this season is going, I can promise you that man doesn't like it way more. I'm sure he stays up at night, doesn't sleep, stays in the office. You know, his wife is a godsend because that man spends so much time at the baseball facilities that I could see him putting the team on the field next year to compete for a national championship. Now we've seen it after winning 20 in 23, 24 season didn't go as planned. Yes, you made the regional and you lose to North Carolina in the regional final, but that season didn't go, like he wanted it. What did he do in 25? He built a team to go win a national championship. And if you can tell me that, we'll go every other year being a national championship contender, winning a national championship, but then the year after may be a little bit of letdown, I'll take it all day, every day, because the man works hard and he's going to put the product on the field to get this team where it needs to be. So that is, what you have to look forward to this weekend. And then go into Hoover on Tuesday, which if I looked at the bracket right, with LSU being the 14th seed, it looks like on Tuesday they'll be playing the late game. If I looked at the right bracket, I looked at it, glanced at it a little bit earlier, because trying to prepare some things. But it looks like as the 14th seed, you play the 11th seed, and it looks like it's the last game on Tuesday. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to it. If that's the case, we're looking for some, how Hoover is with the rain, some late night baseball. And we know how the Tigers do with a little late night baseball. Which brings us to the weekend pitching plans. So it was announced today. Like I said earlier, Paul mentioned on his show. I want to go back to something real quick that he had mentioned. I did say you admitted you were wrong. I said you said on your show that Kaysen wouldn't pitch, but you did come back on X and admit that you was wrong. I gave you credit for that. But Jay did mention today that Kaysen Evans will pitch this weekend. Now he couldn't confirm how he would be used this weekend, but that he would be. And then the pitching rotation comes out, and Thursday night's game is a TBA. Friday night game, Marcos Paz is getting the start. And on Saturday, Zach Cowan getting a start. Remember, I talked about Zach Cowan earlier as being one of those seniors playing their last game in the box this weekend. Well, Zach Cowan's getting a start on Saturday. And I believe that he deserves that. The last game in Alex box for the season. Why not give it to the guy who's been a major part of your program for 2 years and give him the start on Saturday? Well, so that leaves us with William Schmidt, Kaysen Evans. Now, I believe you may see William Schmidt, Kaysen Evans maybe on Thursday. Maybe. You're going to see Kaysen Evans for the weekend. Somewhere, Jay said you're going to see it, just don't know where. I can see them saving William Schmidt for Tuesday for the first game of the SEC tournament. Now, does that mean he doesn't throw this weekend? I could see him throwing this weekend in some capacity. I can see him, not going out there and throwing 100 pitches, but as a bullpen day, maybe an inning or two, and then come back on Tuesday and start the first game of the SEC tournament. Because in all fairness, this weekend, yes, you would love to go. You would love to win the series. You'd love to sweep Florida. But that doesn't give you an at-large bid into the tournament, into the regionals. You know what it does? Winning next week. Winning the whole damn thing. And not saying it's doable. It's definitely not impossible. And it will be very hard to do. But it can happen. Especially, Robbie putting here that right now the matchup would be Tennessee on Tuesday. You're right. As right now, if the standings stay the way they are, LSU will be playing Tennessee 14 seed versus the 11 seed on Tuesday. And I believe that William Schmidt will be starting that game. Paul says it's I with a TBA on the third with the Thursday slot. It is, but you could also see the way Jay's setting it up. You can see him having William Schmidt start on Tuesday. Now, Robbie says, I believe you see Schmidt and Evans tomorrow for winning each, and one going to start. That's exactly what I believe. I believe that you will see Schmidt, you will see Evans as a bullpen day, kind of, sometime this weekend. And then one of them will start on Tuesday, and you can see the other one possibly, winning, if not coming in relief of that game, throwing on Wednesday. And then if you can get past that, you could have, your rotation kind of set up with Marcos Paz, Zach Cowan again. It's going to take work. To win the SEC tournament, it's going to take work. You got to win 6 games in 6 days. Now, do you have the pitching for that? We've seen this year that, that we don't. We have the guys. We haven't had the production from the guys that we would need to accomplish that. Now, could it happen? Absolutely. This team is talented. This is a very talented team that just hasn't put it together. The production hasn't been there. The errors have been there. The mental mistakes have been there. The pitching has been off. But talent-wise, this team is very talented. And we're going to get to that in here in a second. But talent-wise, it is a very talented team. Could it finally click together for a week and you go win the tournament? It's possible. Very plausible, but possible. So that's where I could see the pitching plan for the weekend going. Now you're going to face a Florida team with 2 aces. Aiden King on Thursday night is probably one of the best pitchers in the country. And Florida's not really playing for much. They're in the tournament. They're in the regionals, but they want to win. They're not going to go and lay down for you because no one would do that. So can the offense step up this weekend? And what's going to be kind of, pitching wise, you don't know what you're going to get from LSU this weekend because in all fairness, it really doesn't matter. Now, yes, it would feel great to go and beat Florida in a series, even sweep them. It would, but that doesn't help your at-large bid. So Jay's bigger picture is the SEC tournament, and I can see him setting his rotation, his pitching staff up for that. He even said it himself today in his interview. I think I see it on John Eads' post that they asked him that, are you setting your pitching up for the tournament? He said, absolutely. So I could see someone like Marcos Paz not throwing more than 30, 40 pitches on Friday. Zach Cowan the same. Having all these guys available next week gives you the best chance to win the tournament. And that is really the only chance you have to make the regional. So don't be surprised if you don't see guys go for long. Now, how does that shake up for the weekend? We shall see. You can go out there and score and, maybe win some games. The guys are going to be player fired up. It's the last time in the box for a lot of guys, even the ones with decisions. They're going to be player fired up because this is the last chance. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to pick the Tigers to win the series just like I do every week. There's not going to be a week where I don't pick the LSU to win the series. I can't pick against LSU, and I never will. I'll never, I won't put my money on it for that reason. I bet on LSU in other situations, but I'll never bet against LSU. Let's just say that. So we'll see how the weekend works out. Go out, watch this team, support them. Don't be the hater behind the burner account, the trolling account, just to talk crap about a team if they don't go out and play this weekend like you think they should. We've seen it all year. This team is not the LSU baseball team that we're used to seeing, but that's okay. They're still the LSU baseball team, and they still deserve our support. I'll be there. You should too. Let's go to SEC. Let's go to the SEC tournament, make a run, try to win that thing. If we get into a regional, all bets are off. I can promise you, nobody wants LSU to be in the regional. Then you may see a guy like number 7, Jay Brown, come back. For me, I would love to see that. So, last thing I want to get to is a little something I put out. How does this year, sports-wise, in the academic year, bump up to other years? Now, what do you say by academic year? So, academic year, we're going to cover the 3 major men's sports: football, basketball, and baseball. Now, that's not saying I don't support women's basketball or LSU softball. I do. But for this purpose, I'm going to take the 3 major sports: football, basketball, and football. I mean, football, basketball, and baseball. And an academic year would be, as a freshman in college, the 25 football season, the 25-26 basketball season, and the 26 baseball season. That's an academic year, calendar year. So you look at it this year, football goes 7-6, 3-5 in the SEC. Brian Kelly is fired. You end the season losing to Houston in the Texas Bowl. Basketball goes 15-17, including 3-15 in the SEC. Doesn't make the tournament. Matt McMahon is fired. Now, baseball, you're sitting at 29-24, 9-18 going into in SEC play with 3 more to go, needing to win the SEC tournament to be in the regional. So as a whole, this academic year, that's what you got, which is not good. Not at all. It's been a very rough year sports-wise for LSU. But how does that stack up against years past? Basically, I went back to the last time LSU baseball didn't make the postseason, because with LSU being in the postseason every year, their sports year would not be worse than this one if they're in postseason. So I go back to 2011 is the last time LSU baseball didn't make the postseason. That was Paul Mainieri year. The team went 36-20, 13-17 in the SEC. So, this team right now, the best they can finish is 12-18. So 13-17 in 2011 is a little bit better than this year, but it's right there with you. Now, basketball went 11-20 with a 3-13 record in the SEC. So it's a little bit worse than this year's basketball team. The only thing is, in 2010 football season, which in the academic year is the same year as the 2011 baseball team, they went 11-2. They went 6-2 in the SEC. They went on to beat Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. So, and baseball and basketball lined up as kind of the same years you're having now. Football carried you with a winning season, making, that academic year better than this one. Okay. So then we go a little bit further back, 2007, the time before the last time LSU didn't make the postseason. Now, I believe that is Paul Mainieri's first year, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't make the postseason in 2006, Smokes last year. 2007 was Paul's first year, and they didn't make the tournament that year either. So they went 29-26. They went 12-17-1 in the SEC. kind of the same season you're having right now. Same record, same SEC record. Did have a tie in there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was because of a curfew or something like that. I think it was Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think it's a flight plan. The game had to be called so that somebody can catch a flight, something like that. But you did have a tie. But record wise, you sit at about the same as this baseball season. Basketball, they went 17-15, 5-11 in the SEC, missing the tournament. Again, you're on track with this season. But then we get to football. Football goes 11-2, 6-2 in the SEC. They end the year winning the Sugar Bowl. So again, this season is worse in all three major sports because football carries them that year. So it's possible to say that, in my lifetime as an LSU fan, as far back as I can remember, that this possibly could be, the worst year in academic year in LSU sports, in my remembrance. Now, you can go back into the 80s or you can go back before Skip was coach at LSU, and you may be able to find a year where, same thing happened. But, as far back as I can go, as far back, like I said, my earliest remembrance of LSU baseball was in 96. Warren Morris home run. So my remembrance this year is worse than anyone as an LSU fan that I have went through between football, basketball, and baseball. And it just makes you, that much prouder to be a fan of LSU. Now you say, how are you proud this season? Yeah, but there's other programs in the country that go through this, every other year or, multiple years in a row. For LSU, for this to be LSU's worst year sports wise and academic year in 40 years, that's something special. So being an LSU fan, you don't go through this often. And I will say this, and I'm not going to say it often, but Brian Kelly was right about one thing. We're spoiled. We are, without a doubt. Fan of LSU sports, we are spoiled because we don't go through this. Especially as a fan of LSU baseball, we are very spoiled because depending on how this year goes, the last time you didn't make the postseason was in 2011. That's 15 years ago. So as a fan of LSU baseball, we are very, very spoiled. Don't expect it. It's not the normal. It doesn't happen often. That's why I hate to see fans dogging on the team. Because it's the same fans that are going to be there next year when they're in Omaha like they never left. And that pisses you off. Be a fan that supports a team, win or lose. Yes, you're not happy with results. If you were happy with the results of this baseball season, then you're clueless. You have no clue what you're talking about. No one's happy with the results, I promise you. But I'm a fan of this team, and I'm going to support this team to the last pitch. Whatever that last pitch is, if it's a regional or it's in Hoover, I will be supporting this team through it all. And you should too. Go out, watch this team, support these kids. They're not kids. They get paid. No, they're kids. They play for a university. They're in college. They're kids. Support them like true LSU fans should. That's going to be, that's all I really had to talk about tonight. I do have some maybe exciting news coming up that we will announce next week, but it all depends on how the SEC tournament goes. We will try to go live again next Wednesday, 6:45. It depends on the SEC tournament. If LSU's playing in that time slot, we may have to shift it around. All depends on that. But we are looking to be joined by our first guest on the show. It's lined up so far. Still some details to work out with him. But so far, everything's looking good for it. So I don't want to announce who it is yet until it's confirmed. but I will say that it is a future LSU Tiger baseball player. Like I said, don't want to announce yet. As soon as it's confirmed and everything's set, I'll announce it. But as of right now, the plan is next Wednesday at 6:45 to go live with a guest. And then, like I said, it all depends on what happens in the SEC tournament. Tigers win and they're playing around that time slot, then we're going to push it. And maybe, if I have to record a show, I want to do it live. If I can get him on, I want to do it live. More interaction, more fan questions, stuff like that makes it more interaction, makes for better content. But if I have to record it and put it out later because of time slot and stuff like that, that's what we'll do. But we're going to try to do it on Wednesday, 6:45. Hopefully watching some LSU baseball, and I have to push it. I wouldn't be mad at it. But we'll check this out real quick. Paul says, also, if any burners want to come out and prove me wrong when I say you suck, I'll bring fungo and balls Saturday. Yeah, Paul, we see how that went last time. Now, they're not going to show up because they're burners for a reason. And we all know who you're talking about. Between us, we know who you're talking about. And they didn't show up either. And he wasn't a burner. He was just someone who was, disrespectful and not happy with the production of the team and thinks that sitting at home as a 40-year-old man that he can do better than these kids. And he says not just him. That's, there's more. There's people out there that believe Nate Yeskie should be fired. Do you not know who Nate Yeskie is? Do you not know his resume? The man has been to Omaha with 4 teams, 2-time national champion, multiple high draft picks, multiple All-Americans. Cade Anderson, just to mention one. Everybody know who Cade Anderson's freshman year went? Not great. Not very well. What did Cade Anderson do in year 2 under Nate Yeskie? Best pitcher in college baseball. The man knows what he's doing. You can't ask for him to be fired for one bad season. Is it okay not to be happy? Absolutely. Now, if things keep going maybe next year, then you can maybe question it. If the improvement isn't made, if the adjustments aren't made, then maybe you can question it. But after 1 year, especially after 1 year after winning a national championship, just shut up. Don't mention it. I'm not even going to bring up the ones that say Jay Johnson needs to be looked at. You have no clue what you're talking about. Not at all. To say Jay Johnson needs to go, you need to go. Because I promise you, you are few against the many. Jay Johnson is the best coach in college baseball, and there's no one else that I'd rather lead this program than him. And that's going to be it. I'm going to end the show on that right there. Jay Johnson is the best coach in college baseball, and there's no one else that I would want to lead the program that I love, that I support 100% than Jay Johnson. That's going to do it. See y'all later. As always, go Tigers.